When China launched its Gravity-1 Y2 rocket from an offshore platform just days after an unexplained global blackout of data, analysts began asking whether the mission's true purpose was more strategic than scientific. Officially labeled a commercial launch, Gravity-1's timing, secrecy, and experimental payloads have fueled speculation that Beijing may be testing rapid response space capabilities, perhaps even adapting its technology to monitor, intercept, or weaponize phenomena like the interstellar object 3 Atlas. In a geopolitical climate where space technology doubles as defense infrastructure, the question is no longer what 3 Atlas is, but what China intends to do with what it might have found. The eerie silence that followed 3 Atlas's passage near Mars has become one of the most striking scientific mysteries of the decade. Space agencies that normally compete for headlines, data, and prestige have all gone dark at the same time. No press conferences, no images, not even token updates. This blackout has drawn suspicion not only because of what's missing, but because of what appeared in its wake, China's Gravity-1 Y2 launch. Publicly, the mission was described as a routine deployment of SOML satellites, but the coincidence is impossible to ignore. The launch occurred less than 2 weeks after the interstellar object's closest approach, and the rocket's flight profile was anything but routine. It performed a sharp yaw maneuver mid-ascent, a 40 degrees redirection that stunned observers. Chinese engineers claimed it demonstrated precision and flexibility for sea-based launches. Yet analysts noticed that the shift aligned the rocket's path toward a trajectory suitable for deep space or high-inclination test operations, not the low Earth orbits publicly declared. This kind of behavior fits a pattern increasingly visible within China's aerospace strategy: dual-use missions where scientific and commercial activity conceals military objectives. The Gravity-1 platform developed by the private firm Orion Space can deploy payloads from mobile maritime platforms, bypassing fixed launch sites and international monitoring systems. Its solid-fuel design enables near-instant readiness, allowing a launch window within hours of command approval. In military terms, that's a rapid response weapon platform capable not just of launching satellites, but of deploying high-velocity payloads with potential defense or interception functions. The suspicion then is not that China is attacking an interstellar object, but that it may be using this cosmic anomaly as justification or opportunity to test technology that blurs the line between planetary defense and space warfare. The ability to intercept or neutralize high-speed targets in orbit has enormous implications. It represents a capability transferable to missile interception, satellite disabling, or kinetic impact operations. A launch described as observable could, in practice, be a live-fire test under the perfect cover of scientific research. Compounding the intrigue is China's well-known policy of military-civil fusion, which mandates that civilian industries, including private aerospace firms, directly support national defense priorities. Every advance in propulsion, tracking, and orbital control serves both the nation's commercial ambitions and its strategic arsenal. In that context, Gravity-1 Y2 might be viewed less as a rocket for exploration and more as a prototype for weaponized flexibility, a mobile space launch infrastructure designed to act when ground-based assets cannot. International observers have also pointed out that the launch's secrecy mirrors the global silence surrounding 3 Atlas itself. This isn't just a Chinese blackout. NASA, ESA, the UAE, and others have withheld imagery that would normally be released within hours. Some attribute this to bureaucratic or political gridlock, but others suspect coordination. Under long-standing SETI post-detection protocols, if spacecraft capture data, suggesting a non-natural phenomenon, agencies are required to confirm findings privately before public release. The world may be witnessing that protocol in motion. Yet, while Western agencies paused, China acted. That decision, launching without explanation, has strategic weight. Beijing may be signaling that it will not wait for international consensus if a potential threat or opportunity arises beyond Earth's atmosphere. Whether the perceived threat is physical, technological, or symbolic, the message is clear. China is capable of rapid autonomous action in space, and that capability, once demonstrated, becomes deterrence. From a technological standpoint, Gravity-1 is already a milestone. Its solid propellant boosters deliver over 600 tons of thrust, more powerful than any other private solid fuel rocket. Its modular design supports multi-payload configurations from reconnaissance satellites to small kinetic interceptors. Its sea launch capacity allows deployments in international waters, complicating attribution and monitoring. Even if the payloads aboard Y2 were benign, the demonstration itself proves that China can field launch from the ocean with little warning, an ability with profound military implications. The question then is, what exactly did China see? Tianwen-1, orbiting Mars since early 2021, had a front-row seat to the most mysterious celestial visitor in human history. Its suite of scientific instruments, two high-resolution optical cameras, a subsurface radar, and spectrometers capable of mapping mineral and atmospheric composition, should have captured 3.2 Atlas in exquisite detail. With imaging resolutions down to half a meter per pixel, the orbiter could have resolved not just a glowing nucleus, but any irregularities in surface texture, shape, or motion. If those images revealed geometric structures, flat planes, symmetrical edges, or surface tessellations that defied the chaotic nature of comets, it would have been enough to change the object's classification overnight. Even subtle anomalies like coordinated rotation or a sudden change in vector inconsistent with gravitational influence would force officials to treat it not as a scientific specimen, but as a matter of national security. Such data would never appear on public feeds. It would be instantly encrypted, reviewed by military analysts, and sequestered under the broad category of strategic information. Not because the evidence necessarily pointed to extraterrestrial technology, but because of what it would imply for Earth's preparedness. The mere confirmation that an object of unknown origin demonstrated active control, even residual or mechanical, would set off a chain reaction within defense agencies worldwide. The questions of interception, monitoring, and communication would migrate from academic conferences to classified briefings. In a geopolitical landscape already defined by suspicion, the appearance of an apparently engineered interstellar body could destabilize alliances, redirect funding priorities, and justify a new wave of militarized space initiatives. It's worth noting that planetary defense has quietly become a recurring theme in China's long-term space doctrine. Since 2021, Beijing's National Space Administration and the Strategic Support Force have conducted a series of debris mitigation and kinetic deflection experiments under civilian labels. These operations tested response systems for intercepting fast-moving orbital targets, an essential step for both asteroid deflection and anti-satellite warfare. Chinese academic journals have published studies on momentum transfer impactors, precision orbital redirection, and distributed sensor networks for near-Earth monitoring, all of which have obvious military crossover. Each exercise blurs the line between planetary protection and orbital dominance. The stated purpose is to protect Earth from potential cosmic hazards, but the technology mirrors that used to neutralize adversarial satellites or disable reconnaissance systems. If 3i Atlas truly provided a real-world moving target, even when millions of kilometers away, it would represent a priceless opportunity to test these capabilities under authentic astrophysical conditions. Tracking a fast-moving interstellar object through multiple gravitational assists requires algorithms, guidance systems, and telemetry control nearly identical to those used for targeting enemy spacecraft. Beijing could therefore justify high-speed tracking, communication encryption, and rapid launch coordination as part of an ostensibly scientific mission, when in practice it would double as a rehearsal for future strategic engagements. Every radar ping, every trajectory correction, every encrypted command becomes part of a live simulation in planetary defense that also trains the nation's defense infrastructure for orbital warfare. Meanwhile, silence continues to ripple outward from the world's space agencies. Amateur radio communities monitoring the deep space network frequencies have detected bursts of encrypted telemetry corresponding exactly with TN-11's orbital passes during the 3i Atlas observation window. These transmissions confirm one critical fact: data were collected and sent back to Earth. The question is not whether the spacecraft saw something. It did, but what that something was. The signals bear the signature of heavy data packets, likely high-resolution imagery, or complex spectroscopic logs. Yet none of it has surfaced, not even through unofficial leaks. That absence is striking. Historically, when major missions detect anomalies, bits of information trickle out. Contractors post technical snippets. Engineers hint on forums or early data sets appear in research repositories. This time, nothing. The total absence of leaks, even from minor subcontractors or academic collaborators, suggests a level of information control rarely seen in the scientific world. It implies that the lockdown is coordinated across nations, possibly enforced through international agreements or classified directives. NASA, ESA, the UAE, and China, organizations with very different governance systems, are all maintaining the same deliberate stillness. Such unified restraint suggests one of two possibilities. Either the data revealed nothing at all, an embarrassing failure too minor to admit, or it revealed something profound enough to trigger immediate classification. In both cases, the silence serves a purpose. It protects national image in one scenario and global stability in the other. The encrypted downlinks still logged by amateur enthusiasts whisper of activity beneath the surface. Proof that something was seen, recorded, and stored beyond public reach. Whether the anomaly was natural or deliberate, metallic or molecular, it now exists in the invisible space between scientific discovery and state secrecy, where the laws of physics intersect with the logic of power. The implications of this unified silence extend beyond science. In an era when space has become the next frontier of geopolitical dominance, control of information is control of narrative. By withholding data, nations buy time. Not just to analyze findings, but to determine how disclosure might reshape alliances, treaties, and public psychology. If the data from Mars revealed an engineered artifact or unexplained technology, admitting that discovery could destabilize more than scientific paradigms, it could challenge military doctrines, economic stability, and public trust. That is why the Gravity-1 Y2 launch remains so symbolic, even if it carried nothing more than observation satellites. Its mere timing suggests preemption, a quiet message to the rest of the world that China intends to secure initiative in any emerging domain of space defense. The Rocket C launch platform, hidden behind civilian rhetoric, offers a literal launch pad for actions outside existing international frameworks. And in an environment where outer space is increasingly viewed through the lens of national security, initiative is everything. If China did in fact use the interstellar event as a cover for testing interception or monitoring systems, it represents a pivotal step in weaponizing responsive launch capability. The same infrastructure could, in a future crisis, enable the rapid deployment of jamming satellites, high-velocity projectiles, or surveillance nodes. Space has always been dual-use, but this incident reveals how seamlessly science and defense can intertwine under the right circumstances. Still, there are alternative explanations. Gravity-1 May 2nd had been just another step in Space's commercial development schedule. The timing could have been a coincidence, the secrecy, mere corporate caution. Yet coincidences are rare in geopolitics, especially when they occur in the shadow of global silence. In an ordinary scientific cycle, transparency is currency. Here, opacity is policy. The world is left to fill the gaps with speculation, and suspicion thrives in silence. As 3I Atlas drifts beyond Mars toward Jupiter's orbit, the object continues to obey gravitational mechanics with uncanny precision. It neither accelerates nor tumbles chaotically. It simply travels unbothered by the storm of human intrigue it has left behind. Perhaps it is nothing more than ancient cosmic debris. Or perhaps it is something built, a relic or messenger from elsewhere, now passing unnoticed into the dark. On Earth, the debate reveals more about us than about the object itself. It exposes how easily science becomes strategy, how quickly discovery becomes defense. The Chinese launch of Gravity-1 May 2nd not mark the weaponization of 3I Atlas itself, but it does mark a turning point. The realization that planetary defense and power projection now share the same vocabulary, the same technology, and possibly the same motives. The real story may never be told in a press conference. It will unfold quietly in encrypted data packets, in closed-door meetings, and in the unspoken agreements between nations that have seen something they cannot yet explain. If the data prove mundane, The silence will fade, replaced by academic papers and measured laughter at how quickly humanity jumps to conclusions. But if the data reveals something extraordinary, the world will face a decision not about science, but about disclosure. Until then, the image remains the same. A rocket lifting from the sea under a gray Chinese sky, disappearing into orbit just as the last signals from Mars fell silent. Whether it carried satellites, sensors, or something far more secret, its purpose echoes the question now haunting every agency and analyst alike. Did China just weaponize Three-Eye Atlas? Or did it seize the first move in a defense game humanity never expected to?